Hello, welcome to the Norwegian Newcomers podcast, where we hear about fragments from the lives of Norwegian newcomers. Today, my guest is Carmen. After we had a little snack and shared a bottle of beer, I think we can start. Carmen, welcome to my home studio. Will you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for being such a great host. Let's see, about me, you said? So I have been here almost 5 years. I came from the States, from California, LA. Originally, I was born in the Bronx, New York. My mom and I used to go to Puerto Rico a lot. My mom's side of the family is still in Puerto Rico for the most part. My dad's side of the family in New York and Florida. And so we were going quite a bit. And then they split up when I was 10, so we went permanently to Puerto Rico. Only my mom and I. My dad stayed in New York. And life changed quite a bit. You know, I had a stepfather pretty quickly and 2 siblings pretty quickly. And I was a little sad, and it's just how it is for some of us in life. I'm not the only one, right? So I was in 5th grade, I think, when we went. So it was 5th grade, it's 5th and 6th grade, and then went to junior high, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then from 10th to 12th grade, it was high school. So a decent amount of years in Puerto Rico. My dad was a bank teller in New York. And when we went to Puerto Rico, something happened. We were just ended up on food stamps and welfare and on government assistance and not doing so well. And, it was just life just completely changed.
When my father passed away, I was so sad that at that moment someone offered me to go to Mars. I would leave. I needed my time and space to face the loss. I didn't go to Mars, but this loss was my trigger to move to Norway. Divorce of parents is not a physical loss, but it is or it can be a painful process. Children's lives change, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. When life circumstances become difficult, it can be a trigger to start looking for a way out and direct your life in a completely new direction.
When I was 17 years old, I joined the U.S. Army. I was in the Army for 6 years. The reason why I joined the military was to get out of poverty, like extreme poverty, and just kind of find a way. How can I do something that means something and I don't end up also living off of, assistance. I want to actually work and do something. I remember arriving at Fort Jackson, South Carolina to basic training. You're getting off the bus and the drill sergeant right away is yelling, "You private, stand at attention." And he's just getting in our face. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm so happy. I'm not home. To me, that was still heaven compared to being back home. That's how much I wanted to get out. So. Yeah.
We can watch the life of the USA Marines on film. The life of my guest as a soldier, a specialist in finance, and always ready to defend her country, you can hear now.
So I'm a finance specialist. So you still do the military stuff, you still do the military training. The people in the front line, infantry, if they all get shot, us finance people should be able to defend ourselves. We still did our PT in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, you still have to go running and doing the whole formation with everyone. You still take PT, physical training, PT tests twice a year. You still had to do once a week. We had some kind of military training, you're either refreshing your memory about something you learned in basic training. So you're still military, but you have an office job because you need the finance people, you need the payroll and you need. So I did that the whole 6 years I was in.
We consider privileged those whose professions are such that they involve frequent trips to different countries. I am the daughter of a military man, and I was not very happy that my dad is constantly on the road, although I knew it was his professional commitment. However, as a professional soldier, Carmen enriched her life with travel.
And then I got Germany as my first duty station. I was so happy. Oh my God. It's just I literally to me, joining the army for a person like me was heaven on all levels. Even if you're property of the army and you're yelled at and you have to do so much crap, and there's a lot of not, there's always positives and negatives to everything, course, right? Yeah. So, but I chose to focus on the positives because it still was better than staying back home. I was stationed in Ansbach, which is about 30 minutes from Nuremberg. So I really loved it, but it was a very small town, so there was not much in the town. Like, it was not a lot. So the locals were very local, and they didn't love that there was a military base there, but most of them were nice enough. Soldiers can have a reputation of getting drunk and doing stupid stuff on the streets. I was usually nice to people, and if you try to speak the language, which I learned a tiny bit of, try to at least, be nice to people, and then I think it works. We would go to Nuremberg to go shopping and stuff mostly, or to Frankfurt. It was like an hour-ish. So that was 2 years. And then got stationed in South Korea at a place called Tondusong, which is Camp Casey is the military base, and I think it's still there. I actually have a friend there working as a civilian. But it's like 8 miles south of the border. The year I was there, but I think it's almost every year, it was a tense year between North and South Korea. But this is the same story I heard when I was in the Army. It's like a tense year this year, it's a tense year 2 years from now. And then I was in Alabama for 6 months, and then Washington, D.C. was my last almost 2 years. So then when I got to Washington, D.C., I got a security clearance that allowed me to work at the Pentagon 3 times a week. And then I worked with the U.S. Treasury, investigating stuff. So, and it was all finance, money related. So,
when choosing a profession, you are doing your job well, and you are on a safe path to the ultimate goal and your maximum. But suddenly, you decide to turn your life in a completely unknown and uncertain direction. As we call it, coincidence, destiny, passion, or just Hollywood.
When I finished my 6 years active duty, then I decided to stay there and get an education, get a bachelor's degree. And I had about 2 years left to get a bachelor's because I was studying at nights while I was in the Army. I was studying international politics. I thought, I worked at the Pentagon. I have a clearance. I can keep working with the governments and, get paid really well because of my experience in the Army. So I had my life all planned out. And then I was reading the newspaper one day, and I look at the back, and there's this ad that said, "Do you want to be in movies?" And it was like this weird little ad, and it was just like an acting class, like for the weekend. It was like $150. And I thought, that would be fun. I didn't grow up like acting or doing any of that stuff, but I thought that would be fun, why not? I loved singing as a kid. My dad was a bass player for salsa bands, and my aunt could sing beautifully. And I remember like when she would sing, I would be like, and I was always singing. The family reunions, I was always like, but I didn't think acting at all. Like I was just thinking more music. It was there, some kind of artistic expression that was never let out. So I guess playing a character in some scene that was given to me was some form of artistic expression that I needed to let out. I took this acting workshop, and it was a Saturday and a Sunday, and the guy teaching the class was a Puerto Rican casting director. Like, he's the only Puerto Rican casting director that exists. And his family was from Levittown, which is like from the town that I'm from. And I'm like, wait, this is a little weirdly synchronistic, or I don't know what was going on, but I was just like, and I remember when I was doing my very first real scene with a real person, I remember thinking, this rush, and like I loved it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't sleep that night, and we had to prepare this scene for the next day, and I was just studying and it's so excited, and I hadn't been that excited about anything. I did the class the next day, and he was so nice. His name is Sig de Miguel, and he said, if you're ever, if you decide to pursue this full on, like keep in touch. He gave me a nice compliment, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna keep in touch. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and then I took another acting class, like a theater class on the evenings, just to see. And then I realized I have to try this. Like, I'm still gonna graduate. I have a month to graduate. Gonna take all my finals, turn in all my papers, and then I'm gonna move to Hollywood. Totally Hollywood story. Here was like the military veteran in her little Mustang driving with her car full of crap.
What is the life of actors like in Los Angeles? What do they do, and how do they live while waiting for a positive answer from at least one of the many auditions? How far is the road from Los Angeles to the Netflix series?
And so when I got to LA, and I believe this is important for any career that we pursue, you know, just go for it. Like, go for it. Of course, you doubt yourself. Like, I doubt myself all the time, but I still do it, you know? So when I got to LA, I was just like, I got an agent within like 2 months. I was just sending my picture. You know, this is before internet, so you had to actually pay for postage. Pay like hundreds of dollars like to get like these physical pictures, and you put your resume on the back, and it was expensive. Like, so I'm working 3 jobs at one point just to pay for freaking postage. I worked at opening a gym. I was there at 5 a.m. We opened at 5:30, I think it was. And then I was a hostess at a restaurant, seating people and stuff. And then eventually I got a job helping with marketing at a real estate company. And they were very flexible with me going in and out. You have to hustle. You cannot go there and think just because you're this or that. You have to really work hard. It's a really hard job to have success. I mean, it's taken me 20 years to finally get on a Netflix show. So it's like, sometimes you're broke. I was working 3 jobs at one point just to survive, you know, and pay the bills. So, you know, it's not easy, you know, but I have worked a lot. What's funny is that I did keep in touch with Sigda Miguel, and he did cast me in a movie I auditioned for years later. I took another class with that same company with another casting director, and I got a tiny part in a soap opera because of that different casting director, Gwen Hillier. So the important things that I've learned is that you work hard, but you also follow up. You know, you meet these people that maybe believe in you. They say something to you that maybe you think, oh, they think I have talents. I should keep in touch, you know, and I did. And then you still have to audition. They're not just going to give you the part, you know, you have to still try out for it. But yeah, I tried out and got the part. Like, so many people I know stop themselves, you know, before they even try. You know, it's not about education. You know, I thought, oh, I have to get educated to do blah, blah, blah. It's not about education. It's really about how much you put into it. You know, statistically, most people do a job because they just need a job. Like, sometimes you just don't know there are other opportunities out there because you live in this world where everything is just like this. You get this from funds, and you live day by day, you survive. You have just enough to eat and survive, and that's it. And then you fight with each other or whatever happens, or happy with each other, whatever it is. And then that's it. That's life. You have kids and this. So I remember when I signed up for class, and I was reading about what to do with acting, you know, and I was trying to buy all kinds of books and magazines and all this stuff. And it said to try to work, my acting teacher also said, you know, submit to all these like there was a newspaper called Backstage West, I think it was called, or Backstage, I think. Okay. And it just had like, you know, little indie projects, student films, short films that were being done by, you know, super low budget. He was like, try to get as many jobs for practice, because, you know, you can do all the training you want in school, but it's on set where you're going to learn and like really grow. You know, you're going to learn how to be in front of the camera, where to stand. And then I would audition and get all these little parts. So I've like worked so much on like nonsense, you know, a lot of stuff never made it anywhere. Wow. But I just was submitting. And so I got a little part in a little indie film. I can't even remember. I think it was like some mob thing, and I was like one of the bad girls or something. Same director did another little indie film, and it was like no budget, like barely any budget, but I think I got cast in his second one. And then I was doing all these student films, you know, like they're graduating. So I did so many of those, and I was just like practicing. And I think my first little part was just in the soap opera from that casting director that did the soap operas. I think my first show was Nip Tuck, which was a very popular show, and back in like 2009. That was like my first big TV series, and I was in the pilot episode. I was in the second episode ever. It went on for seasons and seasons on the FX network or whatever. It was like a pretty big show. And I remember I did the audition, and like, you know, I found out I got the part. I remember working with, and it's the huge Ryan Murphy. He does all these amazing shows. He's like the genius when it comes to TV shows, and he did Nip Tuck. And I loved working with him. And then I got another part on Everybody Hates Chris, which was Chris Rock's show about him being a kid in New York and Brooklyn or something. And I remember there was all these girls auditioning for the part. And I remember like I had worked on the material and I was like, I have to do something because everybody's gorgeous in this room. And what am I going to do? Like, I'm just whatever. And I remember like we were all sitting there and I'm like, and it was in that moment, I'm like, this is Brooklyn. I can do Brooklyn anytime. You know, I can talk like Rosie Perez and like talk like a Brooklyner. And that's what I did. I went in there and I talked like a New Yorker, like from Brooklyn. And suddenly I got the part. All right. I got the part. You know, even with all the parts I did get, I also got rejected even more times. You know, you audition, you book like one job every 100 auditions. You actually went in front of the casting director and you had like a few seconds to do your scene with someone. And if you are just having a bad day, or if your something was off, that was your chance. If you sucked, then they will never call you back.
Former soldier Carmen, instead of the security of the Pentagon, turned her life in the direction of Hollywood. From the world of film, her ship of creativity headed further north. Again, love, passion and music are the main drivers.
It was love, Charlie hits, you know. Charlie hits. We were together in LA for 2 years before moving out here. He had been there 6 years and was coming back. And his last 2 years we had been together, and he's a music producer. He's a music, we have a music thing in common. Like I love music and we talk a lot about music. But he asked me if he was coming back and he's not going to be renewing his thing in the States, so if I wanted to come. And I had been in LA 15 years back then. And you know, LA is a beautiful place. I miss it now. All my closer friends are there. And like, I remember thinking like, I can use a little break from LA. And things were like up and down. You know, I had done a show, but it was a recurring part, but there was not much going on. I just felt like I needed something to change or whatever. And I thought, well, why not, you know? So we moved here almost 5 years ago. Like a few months later, I heard about an audition and they were looking for either Italian or Latina, you know, and I got the part and I'm like, oh, it's a TV show called De Kunevad Vare. It was with Espen Eckbos, this Norwegian comedian. Yeah. So I had a little part in the show, but she came back a few times. You know, it's a funny show about he has kids with 7 different women, and I'm one of the mothers of one of his kids. And this was thanks to a friend of my guys. Like he told me about the audition, so thanks to him, I got the part. Because after that, it was like a little slow again, and I'm like, oh. Okay, and because I love writing, I've been writing for a long time. I've been writing short films, short stories, and I filmed. I'm also a filmmaker. I do short films.
In addition to acting, music, and painting, Carmen has more creative potentials. One of them is writing. Her children's books have been translated into Spanish and English language. Maybe it's time for a translation into Norwegian and slightly older readership.
I remember thinking like, okay, I love writing and I love arts. I want kids to have like something inspiring. And so I actually created this little series of children's books. So I have 3 books. Kid Astronomy is like teaching kids about space because I love space. So I did those. I published them myself and they did pretty well in English. And then later on I released in Spanish, but not in Norwegian. I haven't done Norwegian yet. I love writing children's books, but I also realized I want to write something deeper and that something maybe for older kids or adults. So I have several projects that I'm working on. Right. And one is for like young adults, the middle grade young adults. And then I have the other one that's like my passion project.
As we are trying to adjust to the new environment, our mood changes. We can be as moody as the Norwegian climate, all 4 seasons in one day. But as soon as you have more obligations, socializing, jobs, that also changes. And we are often in a better than bad mood.
So we always came in the summer. It was like, oh, perfect. And then right before we moved, that winter before, we decided to come be here for the winter and make sure that I was okay with living in, dark environment, the dark winter.
Yeah.
So we came and but it was only like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. So it was okay when you only do 3 weeks versus 6 months or 5 months. Yeah. So huge difference, and you don't know that until you move. Yeah, I've had like rough days, rough periods, I guess. The darkness doesn't suit me. So I definitely get moodier. I try to always smile despite the mood, but, I feel it in there. It's like, I was also like just freelancing from home, and I get an acting job here, a voiceover job here and there, and, little jobs here and there, and auditioning, putting myself on tape for things, and callbacks, and then writing my little shorts, filming some of them, and some of them are crap and some of them are okay, and just getting better. And then this opportunity came at this, it's a new production company. Life comes back to full circle. So I'm an actress, a writer, blah, blah, blah. And guess what I'm doing at their office? I'm doing finance. So it is interesting. Like, I had never thought I would be doing money and stuff again. And here I am doing it 20 years later or more. Like, oh my God, it's like, and it is a lot more work. It's like this, using that other side of the brain again, because it is like two parts of the brain, right? Yeah. And it does take away from the creativity. I live in Horton. To come to work, I can drive. I have a 40 courts, but I choose to take public transportation because it's just, you can relax more. If you drive, it's about an hour and a half, but with the public transport, it's about 2 hours. It's 4 hours a day. It's a lot. Like, in the beginning, I was like excited. I have this job with some nice people and I'm excited to work for them. And I never got tired. I'm there early. And I'm here, one of the first people that arrives to the office. And, even if it takes me 2 hours and I'm still one of the first people. It's my military thinking though. Like, I have to be there around 9. If I was like, I can't get there after 9:30, I get like, I'll go crazy, Yeah, in Norway, everything is so much more laid back. And it's like, oh, if you arrive whenever, like, as long as you do your job. And I wish I could be more relaxed, but I think it's the military in me. It's like, oh, no, I have to be there at 9. And then, I have to work there till the last minute, Like, I don't know. I can't help it. Maybe I'll become more Norwegian over the years. The thing is, I don't want to change anything. I think this is part of life. Like, you have to just experience it and deal with it, Like, I think Norway's Norway, and deal with the weather. If not, move. Like, if it bothered me that much, I could just leave like you.
Now you will hear something about past and future exciting projects. We talk about this topic additionally over the phone because the time of the interview was not enough for us to say everything we had planned.
What's most exciting so far is that last year I was in a series that premiered on Netflix called Young Royals. I play the mother of 2 of the lead characters, and it's been an amazing journey with the series. It's had a huge success worldwide, especially popular in Brazil and Latin America. And what I really love about it is that it's an LGBTQ love story between Prince and the boy who plays my son. And I'm just really, really proud of being part of the project because of the impact it's had, So, the show has helped so many kids come out and feel better about being different or we get so many fan mail saying how much this series has helped so many people, and it means a lot to me. It's to be a part of such an impactful show and working with such amazing talents. The actors were all so great, the kids are so great, the producers, the company. I just loved the experience. And it's the theme of that, just love is love, and how we should really accept and love each other for who we are. And that was what I really loved about my role, is that as a mother, she supports and loves her children no matter what choices they make. And we just did a little bit of filming for season 2. And I'm excited to be back. And then I also recently had a small role in the second season of a Norwegian series called Pørni on Viaplay, and a Finnish series about Nokia. It's called Mobile 1.0, and that just premiered last week in Finland. We haven't gotten it here yet in Norway, but it should be coming, I think, on Seymour, I think. So, I'm just, happy. And then I'm also really excited for this new upcoming Netflix series. It's coming out around Christmas, and I'm not supposed to really talk much about it yet, but I am so excited. It's a great story, beautifully written. And I can't wait to be able to share it with the world, because it's really wonderful, I think. So, coming back to everything, how everything has come back into full circle. Here I am. I get to be an actress and work much more than I thought I will be working in Scandinavia, on great projects and do what I love and write my stories, and I get to, I've been working and learning about finances and behind the scenes in the film and TV industry. So I feel like I'm finally, sort of starting to find a place here in Norway and Scandinavia, and I'm just really grateful for that. And I'm grateful to be able to work behind the scenes in the TV and film industry and in front of the camera as an actress as well.
Listen to what, apart from brown cheese and nature, Carmen attracts in Norway.
Oh, I love hiking. I love naturen. Nature here is just the most amazing thing. Like in Horton, there's this little route. You can see the ocean on one side and the forest on the other side. And it's like my favorite walk. When I was working from home, I would take that daily walk. I think I posted 1 million of that. Most amazing, I think, is my favorite place. Like if I am like having a rough time, like it takes me somewhere else. Like I just love that place. But even like when we go to Vedrana and we go hiking in the mountains and stuff, I love like just nature here. It's like the air is so clean and so fresh. In LA, the air's not that clean, and so it's a huge difference. I really like the system here, that people take care of each other. You pay a little bit more in taxes, but people are taken care of, being American. I really, like I really appreciate that people here just think more about everyone, the socialist system. So I kind of really appreciate a lot of things, and I do love the country here. I wouldn't be here after 5 years if I didn't. There's a lot of those special things too, I love the food, like brunost, there's a lot of the brown cheese and the, Christmas food and it's just really nice. And I love that people really have like a lot of good family values. In the States, we're like workaholics and we can work like forever and ever and ever and like work weekends, and you're having dinner with your family, people are still checking it's like here's like people take, you leave when you go pick up your kids, you're done with work, you're not working anymore, the weekends are off for family. I was a little weirded out with Sundays, everything being closed in the beginning, but now I'm like, no, that's a nice thing. I like that. I'm not going to shop on a Sunday. There's a lot of amazing things about Norway. So yeah, I am a very much go with the flow person. I think I could have like having a place here and having a place in Puerto Rico, and then a few other places. That's my dream, but we'll see.
Carmen, thank you for being with us today. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I wish you good luck and fun in all your future projects. Thank you.
Oh, no, I loved it. This was really nice. I always feel like I'm like, did I talk too much? I don't know. I hope not. It was comfortable talking to you, and really nice. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to our family.
Thank you.
You listened to the 5th episode of the 3rd season Norwegian Newcomers podcast. This podcast was made possible with support from Bergesenstiftelsen and Eckbos Legat. My name is Vedrana Tanovic. Take care. We are back next Tuesday. Ciao.
Avete ascoltato l'episodio podcast Norwegian Newcomers. Grazie per averci ascoltato e per sostenerci. Di nuovo saremo con voi il prossimo martedì. Statemi bene, ciao!